The courtroom is chillier than normal today. A distant buzz of the overhead lights reverberates through the quiet, resonating off the glossy marble walls. Christine remains motionless, fingers lightly shaking against the wooden table, stare fixed on Kody. He doesn't even blink. His jaw is clenched, his face impassive, but the tension in the air is filled with years of deceit, denial, and unspoken truth. Between them is a thin folder, a folder that could put an end to every argument, every delusion, and every expertly crafted lie regarding family, loyalty, and love. Inside it, a single piece of paper contains the results of one DNA test, one truth, and one question that will determine the destiny of a whole family based on faith and concealment. The judge clears her throat. Mr. Brown, Mrs. Brown, are you ready to continue? The air becomes heavy. Christine doesn't respond, nor does Kody, because sometimes the truth has nothing to do with science. It has everything to do with survival. But when the DNA result is revealed, someone in this room will lose everything. Before we go any further, what would you do if your family's whole future hung on one DNA test? The sun rises in the morning over Flagstaff, bathing the desert hills in gold and stillness. There is a thin mist that hovers above the courthouse parking area, reflecting the light like glass. Christine exits her car gradually, holding her files tight as if the entire weight of her life is contained within. There's a hint of breeze behind her carrying the distant ring of church bells, a faint, somber, and somehow apropos sound for the day when truth comes face to face with judgment. Kody shows up a few minutes after that, his boots landing solidly on the pavement with confident familiarity. He's far from the fellow he used to be on TV. The charming patriarch keeping four women in a place of faith. His hair is cut shorter, streaked with tension, his face set hard from too many fights and too much refusal to forgive. The cameras are gone, but the show isn't. He fiddles with his tie, looks over at Christine, and for one brief moment, the world stands still. Two lives constructed under the same code now torn apart by the simplest yet most brutal thing possible, evidence. But beneath each peaceful face in that parking lot, a storm was already brewing, one that could wreck what's left of the Brown legacy. Within the courtroom, air vibrates with contained frenzy. Lawyers rustle papers, reporters make hushed guesses, and the judge glances at the clock. Christine's lawyer whispers in her ear, "Once that DNA report is opened, no going back." She nods, but her eyes wander, not to the folder in front of her, but to the memories flashing behind her eyes. She recalls the earliest days in Lehigh, giggles ringing out across packed kitchens, the scent of cinnamon rolled baking, the manner in which Kody once referred to her as my rock. Love was limitless back then. Now it's quantified, measured against paperwork, timelines, and secrets nobody wants to own up to. Kody breathes out through his nose, the noise keen in the still room. He looks over at Robin, down the back, her face white, her hands folded, as if praying for something that cannot be reversed. The vision unsettles him more than he anticipated. He constructed this family on belief, but even belief falters when science gets involved, and as the judge comes in, the walls close in, confining decades of hidden truth in a small, lid box of justice. Tay, the bailiff, states the hearing is about to begin. Papers shuffle, cameras snap. The DNA envelope sits on the table, its white borders glinting under the fluorescent light. Christine's heart beats faster. Kody's fingers tap restless. In the stillness before the first word is uttered, time itself freezes, as though even the universe is pausing to inhale, waiting to learn who will survive the truth. For when the stillness fades, the tempest doesn't just come, it devours. As soon as the judge indicates that the report should be opened, the air shatters into silence. All the eyes in the room are trained on the slender dock, white envelope lying on the mahogany table, something so tiny, but which can rewrite the history of an entire family. Christine does not blink. Her attorney pushes the envelope near, the scratch of paper against wood, sounding like thunder. In a storm from which no one can now divert, Kody leans in a little, attempting to decipher her face. But Christine's face is blank, the same serene mask she wore when she packed her final box and left their shared home. Under that serenity, however, something volatile brews, a determination honed by betrayal and years of being disregarded. At times, the most agonizing secrets aren't concealed within falsehoods, they're entombed in silence. Inino, the clerk, clears his throat and starts to read. The words genetic marker, parental probability, and sample verification linger in the air, thick and alien. To anyone else, it's just legalese. But to Christine, it's the language of freedom. She recalls the nights she wondered why loyalty was always one way, why her truth was rebellion. She recalls Kody's sermons on loyalty, being preached from the same lips that held nothing but empty promises. Kody's fist clenches. The report hasn't even been read to the end, but he already feels the loss. For the first time, authority is being taken away from him, and everyone notices. His attorney looks anxiously on, mouthing something he doesn't catch. His thoughts turn to every instant. He swept Christine's misgivings under the rug as emotional posturing. Every instance, he assured himself that leadership was about mastery, not empathy. Power established through fear never lasts. When truth eventually steps in, there is silence until Christine's voice shatters it. I didn't want to do this, she says softly, but you left me no choice. Her tone isn't harsh. It's wearily, definitively final, as if this moment has been waiting all these years to be done. The judge nods to the clerk to go on. Another page turns, a moment of pause. Then, confusion. The clerk readjusts his glasses, reading again more slowly this time. It seems there's a discrepancy in the data. Whispers run through the courtroom. Kody's head snaps back. Christine's lawyer leans forward. The judge scowls. Explain, she commands. The clerk clears his throat again, voice trembling slightly. According to the submitted samples, one does not match the chain of custody. The results may not belong to either party. The room erupts, gasps, murmurs, a camera flash from the corner. Kody slams his palm on the table, eyes blazing. You mean to tell me this test, this entire thing, could be invalid? The judge's gavel comes down on the wood. Order, she cries out. But it is too late. Christine's face goes white. Someone has sabotaged the test. And now, the question isn't who's the father. It's who didn't want the truth discovered at all. The courtroom erupts into chaos, a muted hum of voices swaying and subsiding, the sound of waves against rock. The judge bangs her gavel a second time, but discipline is an illusion now. Kody rises, his cheeks flushed, fury emanating from him in waves. Who did this to that file? He thunders, his voice strained. You think you can just suppress the truth because you don't like it? Christine doesn't budge. Her hands remain on the table, clenched around the edge so hard her knuckles turn white. She's looking straight ahead, not at Kody, not at the documents, but deeper. The recollection of all nights she felt her truth was being rewritten by another. The noisiest din usually starts with the silence of a person who's finally had enough. The judge calls for a recess, but no one stands up. Lawyers confer in whispers. The clerk pages through files, grumbling about mislabeled envelopes and misread barcodes. Christine's lawyer leans toward her. If this was altered, he whispers, someone did not want to conceal the truth. They wanted to annihilate it. Kody rolls his eyes, raising his hands in exasperation. Oh, so now sabotage? Classic. Everything is my fault. He glares at Christine. You were against me from the beginning, weren't you? Her gaze finally locks with his. No, Kody, she replies, voice even but low. I was with you for years, until I figured out you were never with me. Chetty. The words slice through the din like glass. Even Robin, in the back of the room, can no longer keep her tears in. She mutters something under her breath, a name, perhaps, or a prayer, but it's drowned out in the tempest. Kody's attorney waves for him to take a seat, but he won't. I want some answers now, he yells. If this DNA test isn't ours, then whose is it? A strained silence hangs in the air. The judge scrunches up her face. That's precisely what we're going to determine, Mr. Brown. The truth isn't lost. It's simply masquerading under the incorrect name. Outside, The Arizona wind blows hard against the glass panes, shaking them like a threat. The hallway is filled with reporters, cameras flashing as rumors spread, planted evidence leak from within, lost chain of custody. The courtroom doors swing open again, but the atmosphere has changed. It's no longer a paternity trial. It's a search for the person who recreated reality. Christine looks on as an officer enters, carrying a closed logbook. This record, the officer states, contains the original sample numbers. The officer opens the page slowly, but not before he finishes. The lights flash once, twice, and then go out. A gasp, a scream, the sound of something crashing. The courtroom is dark. For a few seconds, there is only heartbeats and whispers and prayers in the emptiness. Hey, Kino, Kody breathes, dipping his head. So this is it, he murmurs. This is what we turned into. Christine's voice shakes but doesn't crack. No, she says, this is what we were destined to encounter. The judge slams the folder shut and declares the case settled, but nobody applauds, nobody stands. The win is too much to win. In the street outside, the rain has ceased. There is a weak rainbow that curves over the courthouse. Ephemeral, weak, but genuine. Christine emerges into the sunlight, her face upturned to the sun. The truth does not annihilate. It shows us who was strong enough to bear it. Kody follows her out, standing at the top of the stairs. Photographs are taken once more, but this time there are no words, no scripted remarks. Only two people who shared a universe, once now, traveling down different roads through the same tempest of reality. Christine spins once, face serene. It's over, she tells the doctor. But the way she tells it, soft, unfinished, makes it evident that it isn't really over. The truth may be told, but justice is still figuring out where to put it. She exits as the wind carries the last page of the DNA report, aloft, heading skyward before it disappears into the gray clouds. Because in families constructed on secrets and faith, truth isn't the end. It's the beginning of everything that finally makes sense. Do you think that truth is ever capable of healing a family that was constructed on control? Or does it only reveal what was never real to start with? Weeks afterward, the sun in Flagstaff is warmer. No courthouse shade, no strained quiet, just the hum of life slowly getting back into pace. Christine strolls through her garden, the same garden she used to plant during the worst days of her marriage. The lavender is the first to bloom this year. The scent of peace, one that she never thought she would know again, fills the air. She sits on the porch steps, teacup in hand, watching her children laugh far off. They're free now, free of uncertainty, free of control, free of secrets that stole their laughter. For the first time in years, Christine doesn't feel like she's just surviving the past. She's living the present. Kody hasn't spoken publicly since the verdict, but in quiet corners of Flagstaff, neighbors say he looks different, more reflective, quieter, almost human again. Maybe even he realized that truth, no matter how painful, can set more than one person free. Because healing isn't about who was right, it's about who chose to stop fighting and start living again. As the sun sets beneath the mountains, Christine smiles up, her face aglow. We made it, she breathes, not as a wife, not as a victim, but as someone who was finally whole. Her tale transcended courtroom proceedings. It became a lesson that truth, no matter how burdensome, ever leads to light, elation, and somewhere past the screen, another witness, perhaps one fractured, perhaps one courageous, watches her tale and knows their own battle isn't finished yet. If this tale touched you, let us know in the comments. Do you think truth does heal or merely makes way for a new start? You're watching the TLC News, where each conclusion reveals a greater truth. Daliel.